Okay, hello out there. Well, if you're not aware of what's happening with tax rates for cars, road fund, whatever you want to call it, you need to be. And there are some ways you can delay paying increased road tax, but you've got to act now, basically. Okay, so first of all, massive thank you to my subscribers and to my members. Membership's really grown, had some really interesting discussions, and I've hit 3,000 subscribers, which is fantastic. So if you're not subscribed, please do so. So car tax, what is happening? So big changes from April, from next month. So one of the biggest changes is with EVs. Okay, so if you have a new car, I've hunted around quite a lot and this is a good summary. So if you've got a new car registered, the first year will be £10. It's a little bit confusing here where it says 29 to 30. It's not £10 for 5 years. So a new EV will be £10 for the first year and £195 from year 2 onwards. Okay, so a brand new car. The only exception to that is if the list price is more than 40,000, you'll pay the expensive car supplement, also known as luxury tax, and that is £410 for 5 years. And as it says here, an EV might be more expensive to start with if you're getting sort of like, you know, BMW, Mercedes, something like that, and then adding some specs on it. It may tip over that, and that's going to cost you an extra 2,000 in tax. So we've got to be aware of that for new cars. Some of the sales guys are a little bit vague all about this because they know they're not going to sell you the car if they tell you. But yeah, really important, that one. The next one that's going to catch a lot of people who've bought an EV since April 2017. At the moment you're paying zero for your car tax. You've got to renew it, but it's zero. So from the 4th of April, if you retax your car, from April I should say, not the 4th of April, if you retax it from April, you will pay £195 if your car was registered after the 1st of April 2017. Okay, so you'll move on to that £195 a year. There is a big thing you can do to delay these, so we'll talk about that later. So then cars that are pre-April 2017, so older than the 1st of April 2017, will always be on the £20 a year one. Okay, so if your car is early 2017 or older, then it'll be £20 a year. The irony of that, so I've got two cars here, I've got two Zoes. So this one is September 2017 registered. These are both exactly the same spec, they're the same colour, and this one is registered, I think that's late 2016 or early 2017, something like that, but just a little bit older. This one will stay on £20 a year tax, okay, continuously, whereas this car will start paying £195 a year, and they're literally, you know, less than 6 months different in age. And yeah, that's the big difference. One of those is going to have to pay £200 a year, nearly £200. Right, so it's not only EVs that are changing, because people are saying, oh, it's unfair, we should, you know, incentivize people to have EVs. They're changing all the bands, okay, and realistically you have had free tax for potentially several years, so it's been a win. So the emissions rates are changing as well. To 1 to 50 grams per kilometre of CO2 will increase to 110, 51 to 75, 130, and a 75 grams per kilometre of CO2 and above, it doubles. So what's this like in reality? So cars, examples of cars that are on this lowest bracket, so Toyota RAV4 PHEV plug-in hybrid, Seat Leon hybrid, Kia Niro hybrid. Okay, lots of these PHEVs, quite interesting, but yeah, that's what they get, so they'll be on 110. There is a little bit of irony there that you can actually get a plug-in hybrid and therefore create emissions, and yeah, you know, you're better for the environment if you've got a full EV, but you're paying more tax. I know that's a bit of an oddity, but you're not paying fuel duty, so you're paying a lot less in tax overall. Okay, so you can kind of see why they're doing it as well. We'll talk about that in a minute. Interestingly, cars that will pay 130, so the new Yaris and the new Touareg Fev, massive car, fantastic, and Land Rover Defender plug-in hybrid, massive thing, 130. It's going to be cheaper than your EV. Yeah, sorry about that. That's the way it goes. Ones that are going to start hurting though is where the rates are doubling. They're really, you can see what they're doing here. They're really trying to incentivize the manufacturers to produce more fuel efficient, lower emission cars, because it's really going to start to sting. I mean, 100 used to be that 100, 120, 130 grams per kilometre was really low. It's not anymore. It's not anymore. So like the Renault Clio E-Tech, 96 grams, Honda Jazz, 102 grams. This is a 60 mpg car, but it's going to be in a doubling rate. And the older Toyota Yaris was 98 gram. Obviously they've reduced that with the newer one. So yeah, these are the kind of amounts. If you feel bad about your EV tax, so yeah, the 75 to 90, £270 a year. A Clio or an old Yaris, a brand new Clio, £350 tax a year. Ouch. Old Yaris or a Honda Jazz, quite a fuel efficient car, what you used to consider to be a fuel efficient car, £390 a year. It's really going to sting. So you might think that your EV tax hurts, but it's really going to hurt if you've got some of these older petrol and diesel cars. So some real oddities. You can see how they're trying to incentivize you to have a plug-in hybrid. I know that seems weird if you've got a fully electric, but for fleets and general population who aren't really into their EVs yet, they're kind of trying to wean them off the fully petrol or diesel cars, trying to get them into something that they can plug in. It is tricky because if you get a company car that's a plug-in hybrid, some people may not plug it in, they may not have a charge point at home, etc, etc. But these cars are more fuel efficient. Let's hope they're more fuel efficient when you don't plug them in. That's really the question. I mean, a Land Rover Defender, a plug-in hybrid, yeah, it's kind of mad, but that's how it is. So there's a few oddities. One oddity I realised, BMW i3 came with a Rex, and that Rex is really low emissions. So the Rex is like a moped engine with a generator, so you can get the fully electric BMW i3, but you can also get it with a moped engine and a generator under the boot floor. And that then the engine starts, and little moped engine, it's a tuned engine, and it will run a generator and just keep the batteries topped up as you're going along. So that is a car which produces emissions, but the emissions producing version will actually have less tax than the full EV version. Kind of mad, but that's really how it is. Another oddity, an Ampera, which is a similar kind of vehicle architecturally. When you've got the range extender engine, it's a an electric powered car, but it has a generator that tops it up, and that's going to be 110 as well. But most of these will be pre-2017, and similarly with the Rex as well. If that's pre 2017 date, it's going to be the £20 anyway. So yeah, I mean, EVs, you've had it a long time at zero. The fuel is cheaper anyway, vastly cheaper. Although if you do like public charging, not so much cheaper. Yeah, so we talked about the expensive car supplement, so that's definitely one to avoid. Vans, I feel sorry for these guys. If you've got something like an EMV 200, you've been paying £0 a year, that's moving to £335 a year. Ouch. Okay, you really want to be delaying that one. So what I don't know is if anyone can answer in the comments. So these electric vans, the EMV 200 came in a passenger version. So yeah, it was like van derived car effectively. So it still looks like a van, but it's got windows. You can get 7 seats, 5 or 7 seats. I suspect if it's passenger version on the V5, then you won't pay the 335, you'll pay the 195. Yeah, maybe some people will be putting windows and seats in their vans. Who knows? Interesting. So what can you do if you want to delay these? Well, there's one really, really big thing you can do, and it's something I've done, and it doesn't matter whether you've got a fully electric and you want to delay the 195, or you've got, you know, like an old Yaris or something, you don't want to pay £390 a year. So basically you can tax your car before it's run out. Okay, so you don't need to sawn it. People are saying, oh, you got to sawn your car and then unsawn it. You don't. Okay, and I've done this, and lots of people have done it. Not everyone realizes I've actually just told the guy that owns this car, because that's due in September, that if he does this, then he can delay the rise for a lot longer. So what you basically need to do is get your V5, go on your car DVLA website, and you're going to re-tax it even though it's not due, because if you do this now, and you need to do it now, basically there's no benefit to delaying it anymore. The only benefit is that it's done. You've got to do it. Okay, so you get your V5, go to the tax website. Do you have a tax reminder printed in your name? So we say no. Which document do you have? I have the V5 registration document printed in my name. So you have to have something. You can do it if you've got new keeper supplement, but that'll be if you've just bought the car. But so chances are you've probably just taxed it anyway, because tax doesn't transfer. So this is something I've done with my wife's car, because she's got a 2020 Zoe. So that's going to be £195. I was going to say she's going to pay, but no prizes for guessing who does the car related jobs around here. So this is yeah, my wife Zoe. So the registration plate asks you for then the 11-digit reference. So on your V5, that's the bit in the top right hand corner. So this was my V5, it's about up here in a circle. So that reference number, you pop that in there. It will vary if you're just using the V5C. So it looks up the details and it says your vehicle will be taxed from 1st of March. Are you aware that your vehicle's tax is not due to expire until February? Because I did this in February just to basically get it banked, and I'm doing it again in March to get another month. So yeah, it's a bit confused because your tax has not run out, but you want to re-tax it because you want to tax it on the current rate, whether that's 0 because it's an EV, or whether that's a reduced, the rate that hasn't yet doubled because you've got an old Yaris or something like that. So you say continue, and then it's like it really wants to make sure that you're sure the vehicle is currently taxed. There is tax due to expire on 1st of February 2026, and if you continue, you may be charged again. Okay, so you basically got to carry on. I did this on an EV. With a hybrid where you're paying something, you may have to pay again and then it send you a refund because you're actually paying something, whereas obviously currently for an EV you're not paying something. So you tell it yes, you definitely want to do it. Then you have to check it and confirm it. You can put in your email if you want to, which I did do, but it tells you what's going to happen. So from 1st of March 2025 we're going to get 12 months tax on my wife's Renault, and we're going to say continue. So once it does that, it says it's complete, you pay nothing, and that is tax now until the end of Feb 2026. So if your tax is due to expire next month in April, you can get 11 months free, okay, whereas otherwise you're going to have to either pay your £195 for 12 months if it's an EV, or your higher rate if it's a hybrid car. And I would strongly encourage you to do that, because you're just massively delaying it, basically delaying it for nearly another year. So yeah, as I say, I've advised the customer that owns this car to do that. The this one is my wife's old car, so she's going to have to start paying tax, and that one is up for sale. That one does actually have a battery lease, so we're getting rid of the battery lease cost, so the tax doesn't, you know, net difference is not massive, to be fair. And I have to say, this one will continue to be, it's 2016, so that will continue to be free tax. But that car has got major issues. Oh, actually, the motor which is here, it belongs in that car, but I've got to go and pick up some more parts because that car's got major issues, but the customer wants it repairing, so that's absolutely fine. So hopefully that's useful. Yeah, if you've done a hybrid, yeah, drop in the comments exactly what happens, especially if you've got an EMV200 as well. That would be really interesting to know if you've got a passenger version, if that's going on to the high rate or not. But yeah, if you've got an electric van or like an old Yaris or something, and yeah, like the biggest jump I think is the EMV200 or other electric van, up to 335, absolutely massive jump. But yeah, if people have seen my video about the legal court action with Mobilise Finance, Renault Zoe battery finance people, nothing as yet has happened there. But I will update as and when it does. So yeah, if you want to find out what happens next with that legal action, yeah, then don't forget to subscribe. So hopefully that's interesting. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you later. Cheers.